In this video, I want to talk about how I had one of the best seasons I've ever had in public land in the southern Appalachian Mountains hunting big woods whitetails. I just want to explain some of the techniques I use and how I did it. These hunts took place in the northeast Georgia mountains, and there aren't very many deer there, so it makes it that much harder to be able to see a mature buck. On November the 28th, I harvested a big 9-point, and I didn't know the area very well I got him in. I had found it in the early season and found sign there and decided to wait until the rut to hunt it. And when I did, I waited just a little bit later to go in that morning because I didn't know the area very well at all. So when I go into an area like that, oftentimes I'll walk and grunt like this. The day I got my 9-point, the deer were already a little bit spooked. Way off in the distance, I could hear a dog barking. And when the deer got to me on the ridge with me, they were all just kind of walking around a little bit nervous. And the big 9-point was standing up on top of the ridge, and I could just barely see antlers. And I looked through my scope and finally found him. I could just see his head and antlers. I couldn't see the rest of his body. And I grunted with my mouth twice at him, and he just looked down at me and just started walking down towards me. And he kept walking, just looking around, trying to see if he could see me. And he finally got just close enough to where I could get a good broadside shot at him. And I did. And it was a really tough shot. I made a really long shot on it. But he was just going down some trails that led to a bedding area, and I was literally sitting right on the edge of a bedding area. When I got up there, that's what I'd walked up on, was literally the edge of a bedding area, and he was just about to go in it with those other deer. I was blessed today, harvested this beautiful mountain buck. It all happened really quickly. I got here late this morning because me and my dad done a 10-mile walk yesterday hunting for deer deep in the mountains. We didn't really do any good yesterday, but I came to a different spot today a little bit later, and he ended up pretty much running down on me. This deer was probably 100+ yards up the mountain, and he was standing behind a tree, and I just grunted once or twice just to see if I could get his attention and move out from that tree. And he heard me, and he walked down the ridge kind of just a little bit, just enough for me to get a good shot on him, and I did. And it's just blessed. A lot of times I pack game out when I harvest them in the mountains because I'm in some pretty remote areas, but I never leave a gut pile in the spot I shoot it in if I know I'm going to come back and hunt that spot in the season, because that gut pile will draw all kinds of predators and it will mess up that spot. So I just drag the animal to a different location and field dress it. Most of the places I hunt in the North Georgia mountains are pretty remote, and I don't use any stands in those areas, so I just hunt off the ground. So what I do is I make sure I clean out a place in front of a tree that covers me up pretty good as far as my outline. I don't want any outline showing. When I clean the leaves off where I plan on sitting, I usually grunt, so that way if another buck's in the area, he'll hear me and come looking for me. When hunting off the ground, I try and keep movement to a minimum, and if I do have to move, I move really slowly. And if deer in the area and I have to move, I make sure they're looking the other way before I move, because if you don't, they will see you. In the mountains, I usually try and avoid areas that have a lot of coyote or wild hog and black bear sign, because those deer will usually try and avoid areas like that as much as they can. Last year before Christmas, I ended up testing positive for COVID-19, and it put me out of work for a little while, so I had some time to hunt, and I kept finding sign in the same spot I harvested my 9-point, and I knew that there had to be another big one in there, so I kept hunting it. And on December 23rd, I harvested a big 8-point in the same exact spot, and he was coming out of the bedding area that my 9-point was going into. It was all at the same time of day. the same trail, and it was just awesome the way the whole thing unfolded. Good Lord has blessed me again in the same spot. I just killed another great mountain buck. I'm about to walk up to him. I've actually got coronavirus too, and I just got off work for it the other day. I tested positive. I just knew I had to come up to this spot and hunt again because I knew there was another giant in here, because my one, that big one I killed, had a broken tine. This one's got a broken tine too. What a beautiful deer, guys. Oh man, I can't believe it. It's been such a great season. I'm just so blessed. I've had such a great season. Definitely the best season I've ever had. I'm so blessed to be able to get this big buck today. I knew there had to be another big one in here. That big one I killed, like I said, it had a broken tine, and I just knew there had to be another big one fighting it in here. And I'd been finding some fresh sign, but a lot of the sign started to dry up. I haven't seen any fresh sign, and I just thought I'd come back in here today. I've been hunting this spot really hard, like I said, trying to see if that other buck was in here, and I just knew he was, but I'm so thankful and blessed I got him. It's just been an incredible season, and it is tough hunting in these mountains. I mean, I have been hunting really hard this year, and like I said, this past Saturday I seen 3 does, and those was the first deer I had seen this entire month of December. And I came in today knowing that I may not see anything, but you know, it happened today. I'm just so blessed it happened today. And I'm very tickled. He broke this tine right here, probably fighting my big one. Just a beautiful buck. It's hard hunting up on this national forest, up in these big mountains up here. It feels so good when you harvest a big mountain buck, especially when you're deep in the mountains and you've been hunting really hard. And like I said, I've had a blessed season, and I'm go ahead and get this buck took care of and get him out of here. Another important thing is being content and happy with what you already have, because I know it helped me in getting this second buck and tagging out on him, because I was already content and happy with what I'd gotten in the season. And I usually hunt better when I'm content and I'm not flustered and worried about trying to get another deer. I would also like to add, if you've not gotten on the Cervicide app, you definitely need to download that app. It's a great hunting community. I'd actually been on it for a while, probably a month or so before I joined the field staff, and I really enjoy it. There's no bashing of anyone's kills on there, and just a great community of people helping each other out. There's also hunt swaps on it, so if you don't have the app, you definitely need to get it.